Good morning. You may take down that microphone to hair, huh? It's time for the special music. And I'd like to take a few moments to give a testimony of my week. So yesterday, we're going a little bit backwards. Every other Saturday is a very exciting day for me and for Cindy because it's Harry Day. Harry is coming over for dinner and we spend a good time talking about this and that, and we listen to music, maybe watch a music video, and we did the same thing yesterday. And this is also ties a little bit into the special music. We like to hear nice music, good performance, beautiful singing. I hope I can live up to that. I don't have a voice like David Crowder, so don't be disappointed. Give me some leeway there. But, so we started to bring up some videos. We started with that song I just put on YouTube with My Hope. And then Cindy came up, oh, let's play it like this. André Rieu, the king of classical music and classical dance. He can fill stadiums, you know. And she brought up that waltz on the Blue Donau. It's beautiful. The audience sits there in an open-air setting. Thousands of people, maybe 100 couples, ladies in white, guys. No, otherwise. The ladies were in a sky blue with long dresses in that waltz. Beautiful, beautiful. So now, as the YouTube feed matter is, the next one comes up from André Rieu. So was a little different now because he told that story that Anthony Hopkins, as a musician in his younger years, before he became a world-known actor in Hollywood, he was a musician and a composer, and he wrote a waltzer. And Harry and I, we both got a little bit upset how he was kissing up to Anthony Hopkins. And then he played that waltz, and we both looked into our eyes and said, well, it's a waltz, yeah. It sounds a little bit like between Dr. Zhivago and the Blue Donau. It's a level down, you know. So we're not that excited, but the feed goes on. No, different. Harry came up, hey, play Camina Burana. Yeah. Cindy doesn't know what it is. I said, Harry, are you serious? That's tough stuff, you know. Okay, but before we go there, I'm going to play you a sample of Camina Burana just in a moment, but we are jumping back now from Saturday to Monday. On last Sunday, Robin asked me, hey, can you sing next Sunday? I said, sure, I have a new song. I'm going to sing it with Maria. So I got it all ready, get the playback ready, the lyrics on that, then I sent it to Pastor Tim. He approved, fits to the service. Let's go with that. It's about the watchmen, how they wait for morning. Beautiful. We love to hear that, right? Our heart, we are waiting for the Lord like the watchman in the morning. So little did I know that Maria, the day afterwards, sent me a text saying, my voice is gone, I can't sing. I said, well, okay, we'll do it another time, no problem, I'll find another song. So then I looked at the sermon again, about discipleship. Let's talk about, in that song, about the first step in discipleship, right? When you come to Jesus and my chains are gone, brings me on my knees. We like that thought. Little did I know that a storm would break loose, you know. Inside. I became restless, wrestling with that song. Not because of the lyrics, but what does it really mean? What does grace mean? So I got a little bit withdrawn and reluctant with uttering words. So Cindy on Tuesday said, well, are you okay? You know, you look a little bit inside. I'm just thinking, you know, we are men, we don't utter what we feel. I'm just thinking, but it got worse, you know. It wouldn't let me go. On Thursday, I stayed in bed until noon or past noon, and she comes in, and I could read it in her mind. Uh-oh. He's depressed. He has a depression episode. He stays in bed all along. I could read it in her eyes because she knows that from her brother, that syndrome, who would withdraw for 3 days in bed and not come out because he has a depression episode. I said, no, I'm fine. I'm just wrestling with something about grace inside. And before we go into the details what that was, we can now play a sample of Carmina Burana, how that wrestling feels like. And I'm pretty confident some of you will have that same feeling every now and then. So, Tristan, please play the next slide. I relieve you from that now. It's, I told you, Karl Orff and Carmina Burana is for the lover of modern classical music. You know, not for everybody. But it really explains the thoughts. I put that on one slide this morning because after Carmina Burana, all that happened overnight, you know, putting it together, put my thoughts into the things we chase are fading and we have no means to hold it. And that comes to that understanding, what is really grace? We talk about salvation and discipleship, right? We want to go to heaven. I said the prayer, I raised the hand, here's my birth certificate, I'm good to go to heaven. Jesus died the death that I should have died, and my sins are forgiven. So let's back up a step here. Why? Because we didn't live the life he lived. That's the only reason. So if we jump to heaven, we are skipping the whole ceremony that's about to come. The discipleship is gone. It's away. So how do I know what is the amount, the magnitude, the value of that grace that was bestowed on me? Well, how can I say that? It's very difficult. I need to know the amount of guilt, debt, and dire misery that it paid for, right? So Lloyd Johnson, Dr. Lloyd Johnson, he used in the 50s in his evangelistic sermons one example. It's like somebody was staying at your house and the bill came due, and the next day he walks up to you, hey, there was somebody coming up, there was a bill due and I paid for it. How would you react to it? Well, I don't know how to react until I know what was the bill. Was it $2 because there was a back pay on postage for a package that you relieved? And then I would say, thank you very much, that was really kind of you. Or was it an IRS agent with a few police officers backed up and they want your back taxes, and in the parking lot or in your driveway is a tow truck getting ready to repo your truck, right? If that is the case, my reaction would be totally different, right? The one is, thank you very much. Or on the other hand, I would be on my knees, kissing his feet. Thank you very much for paying my guilt. I would have been in prison, in chains now. And we are going slowly into the song. All my hope, my chains are gone. We are going slowly in that song. My chains are gone. I am relieved. Now I am able to live the life that Jesus lived, because his perfect righteousness is bestowed on me through the death that he died, so I don't have to die it. So I am perfectly righteous with a clear record, and I can do that now. So there is a little plant established now in us that needs to grow. But there must be a plant. If there's nothing visible, then we didn't understand the amount of grace and our dire situation of guilt that we were in. If there's no change visible, the gospel is not understood. So that leads me to that little song from David Crowder, and I'm sure I will disappoint you. I do not have the emotional, raspy voice like David Crowder has, but with that in mind, be clear. And by the way, especially for second-generation Christians like me, you know, last Sunday was my birthday, 10 o'clock, I was born into a church. Less than a quarter mile from, on a Sunday morning, less than a quarter mile away from church. I mean, have you heard ever in a testimony, well, I gave my life to Jesus when I was 12. I didn't do all the bad things that others did, but Jesus forgive me. There is a little bit of, I needed less grace than others. I'm a little less guilty than others. I'm a little less in dire straits. I lived a pretty decent life, and other than that Jesus had to die for me to go to heaven, I'm in good shape, you know. Wrong. There is nothing good, like Paul said, nothing good in me. Everything is bestowed on me through grace free. Now, don't jump the discipleship part, because Jesus died the death we should have died, so we can live the life he lived. Amen. All my hope. Let it roll. I've been held by a Savior. I felt fire from above. I've been down to the river. I ain't the same, a prodigal returned. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. I'm no stranger to prison. I've worn shackles and chains, but I'm freed and forgiven. I'm not going back, I'll never be the same. That's why I sing, all my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. There's a kind of thing that just breaks me. breaks me down on my knees. God, I've been broken more than a time or two, but you picked me up and showed me what it means to belong to you. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. All together now. All my hope is in Jesus. Thank God that yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. I've been washed by the blood. Yet not I, but Christ in me is my prayer.